Thank you, Jane, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. I'd like to thank the Nature Conservancy of Canada for asking me to join this discussion tonight on this very important topic of why forests matter. There's so many reasons why forests matter. In fact, it's why I call myself a forest hugger. It's because I see the values the entire forest provides. Forests matter because they give us life-saving and life-sustaining benefits like Jane talked about, like cleaning the air we breathe, purifying the water we drink, providing habitat for wildlife, creating places for recreation. You might think that you can only benefit from these values if a forest is a park or a protected area, and that's certainly one of those areas where those occur. I also believe that working forests that include responsible timber harvesting also play a critical role in maintaining these values and can even enhance them while improving our quality of life. My viewpoint is based on decades of experience in the forest sector and as Vice President of Conservation and Indigenous Relations for SFI, a nonprofit sustainability organization dedicated to the future of our forests. At SFI, we develop third-party forest certification standards, support conservation research through our standard requirements and grants, and we work to improve forest management and create opportunities to value forests throughout the entire supply chain. I have the pleasure every day of interacting with people like forest managers, Indigenous peoples, conservation groups like Nature Conservancy Canada, community groups, and government agencies. Forests represent many different things to these people, but when we stop to think about why forests matter, we can probably agree that these three elements are important: responsible forest management, quality of life, and responsible purchasing of forest products. Let me explore those values. So what do I mean by responsible forest management? It means managing a forest for a variety of conservation values and community values while harvesting and regenerating the forest, which gives us sustained economic value, balancing the three legs of the stool, we like to say in the forestry business. And I'll give you an example from the Nature Conservancy of Canada that we're here and you may have seen it on the wall already tonight. It's the Canuck Nature Reserve. I live in Ottawa, and this is about 100 kilometers east of Ottawa. Maybe you're familiar with the Chateau Montebello. It's the forest above the Chateau Montebello. This property is now owned in partnership through Canuck Canada, Nature Conservancy Canada, and families. It's being managed for large landscape connectivity, recreation, conservation research, and in fact, timber harvesting. And it's recently been certified to our standard by a third-party auditor. We're funding some research on this property, and we're doing this research on vernal pools in partnership with Canuck Canada and the Nature Conservancy of Canada. So in a forest where you have timber harvesting, you also have recreation, and you have important research that will help us understand the worldwide decline of amphibians and the role of vernal pools. Vernal pools are temporary water bodies that form after snowmelt or high precipitation and provide important habitat for a variety of plant and wildlife species of concerns, including frogs, this red salamander that you see on the screen, and other amphibians. Vernal pools are essential for amphibians because they're cut off from fish, and so the amphibians can lay their eggs, and the eggs will be protected by being cut off from fish, and they'll grow into adults. In short, responsible forestry can do a lot of things. We can use these landscapes to provide timber. We can also apply research to learn how to best reverse damaging global trends like the amphibian decline. In other SFI forests across Canada and the US, we're collaborating to provide habitat for migratory birds and species like caribou and grizzlies and bats even. This brings me to the second concept that I introduced. Forests matter because they enhance our quality of life, including places for recreation, which are central to our shared quality of life. 95% of forests certified to our standard are available for recreation, and this isn't some niche area. We've certified 110 million acres across North America to our standard. That's greater than the size of France and Germany combined. This means you don't have to choose between a working forest and having outdoor recreation opportunities. And it's so important, as you'll hear later on, to connect people to the outdoors if we want people to value our forests. When 80% of Canadians live an urban lifestyle, getting people outdoors will improve their quality of life and will improve their understanding of the importance of these values. And we can't talk about the quality of life in forests without looking at the economic benefit of Canada's forest sectors. Forests matter because they contribute more than $22 billion to our annual GDP. They're a source of 200,000 jobs, including jobs for Indigenous peoples. and nearly 7% of our exports come from Canada's forests. $22 billion to GDP, 200,000 jobs, and 7% of our exports. That's a lot of economic benefit. That's quality of life from our forests. When you came into the art gallery tonight, you must have seen the beautiful wooden structures throughout and the beautiful use of wood. So I'd like to talk about the use of wood. Talking about economic benefits leads me to responsible procurement of or purchasing of forest products. It may seem paradoxical at first, but if we want to keep our forests healthy and sustain communities, we must support using forest products from well-managed forests. Forest certification is an easy way to know that a forest has been responsibly managed. When you purchase a product with a third-party forest certified label, it lets you know that you're saying yes to the benefits of a responsible renewable resource. I'm going to zoom in, or not zoom in, to Canada's forests. We're very proud to have 347 million hectares of forests. 166 million of that is certified to organizations like our own. Canada is a world leader in responsible forest management. This is more than twice the number of hectares certified than the next leading country. Of that vast forest, 24 million hectares are protected in various forms, including NCC lands. But we also encounter vast natural disturbances. 20 million have been damaged by insects on an annual basis on average, and 4 million are burned in forest fires. And annually, we harvest less than 1 million hectares of this vast forest each year. Forests store carbon. They store carbon in the trees, their soils, their wetlands. A lot of carbon continues to be stored when a tree is cut and remains in forest products. When we recycle paper, for example, that paper will be used 6 to 9 times more. We're temporarily storing carbon, believe it or not. More substantively, when you build structures out of wood, like this museum or this building on my slide, this is an 18-story residence on the UBC campus. And as you can see, it stores over 2,400 tons of carbon. You get carbon sequestering effects while a forest is growing, and when you cut down a tree, a lot of the carbon continues to be stored in the wood and its products. And then you plant a new tree, and more carbon is stored. What's really amazing is North American forests grow enough wood every 6 minutes to build this building. And another interesting fact about this building is it will offset the power for an average home for 222 years. Responsibly managed forests and forest products from these forests matter in a carbon-constrained world and in a climate-challenged world. Forests store carbon, and wood products derived from those forests continue to store carbon. Responsibly managed forests and forest products matter to our social fabric. They provide jobs for rural communities, and they produce products from a renewable resource that improves our shared quality of life. Responsibly managed forests also provide habitats for our conservation ABCs, amphibians, birds, bees, and bats, and caribou. SFI helps promote these values every day for consumers like you, for people like you. Thank you for caring, and thank you for joining us tonight.